What if you went to sleep feeling completely fine and woke up already dying? In the middle of the 1300s, that wasn't just fear, it was happening for real. A fever would come out of nowhere. At first, people thought it was nothing serious, but then the pain started and the swellings appeared, dark lumps under the arms, along the neck, and after that, things moved fast. Sometimes people were gone in a few days, sometimes in just hours. Whole families disappeared, not slowly, all at once. Church bells rang constantly, until eventually they just stopped. There weren't enough people left to ring them. Graveyards filled up, then overflowed, and in many places, the streets went quiet, too quiet. Across Europe, people were asking the same thing: is this the end? What they didn't know was that they were living through the deadliest pandemic in human history, the Black Death. And once it reached you, there was almost nothing you could do. But here's the part most people don't expect. Before all of this, life was actually going well. The early 1300s weren't dark and miserable like we imagine. In fact, things were improving. Harvests had been good for years. Food was more available. The population was growing fast. Cities were packed with people, busy, loud, full of life. Trade connected places that had never been connected before. It felt like the world was expanding, like things were only going to get better. And that is exactly what made it so dangerous. Because the same roads, ships, and trade routes that brought wealth also carried something else, something no one could see. Far away from Europe, in the grasslands of Central Asia, a deadly bacterium had existed for centuries. It lived inside rodents. Fleas carried it from one animal to another. For a long time, it stayed there, unnoticed. But something changed. A shift in climate, lack of food. We don't know exactly why, but infected animals started moving closer to human settlements, and slowly, the disease made the jump. At first, it spread quietly along trade routes. Travelers told strange stories, entire towns in the east falling silent, people dying in ways no one understood. Most Europeans didn't worry. It felt far away, like someone else's problem, until the ships arrived. In 1347, trading ships began docking in Mediterranean ports, but something was wrong. Many of the sailors were already dead. The ones still alive looked barely human, burning with fever, covered in black swellings. Authorities tried to send the ships away, but it didn't matter, because the real carriers had already arrived: rats, and the fleas on them. What happened next was chaos. The disease spread faster than anything people had ever seen. One person got sick, then a family, then an entire street. People ran from cities, thinking they could escape. They couldn't. They only carried it with them. Doctors had no idea what they were dealing with. They blamed bad air or strange alignments in the sky. Some told people not to bathe. Others tried bleeding patients. Nothing worked. And slowly, society started breaking. People were too afraid to care for each other. Parents left their children. Husbands left wives, not because they didn't care, but because they were terrified. Shops closed. Work stopped. The noise of everyday life disappeared. And in its place was silence. The dead piled up faster than anyone could handle. Mass graves were dug, bodies placed side by side, layer after layer. Some people turned to religion, hoping for answers. They prayed. They begged for forgiveness. Others went further, marching through towns, whipping themselves, believing pain might stop the disease. But fear kept growing. And eventually, it turned into blame. Rumors spread. Communities were accused of causing the plague. Violence followed. The disease wasn't the only thing destroying people anymore. And it wasn't just cities. Villages disappeared too. Fields were left empty. Crops rotted where they stood. Animals wandered without owners. For a moment, it felt like the world itself was falling apart. By around 1351, the worst of it started to slow down. Not because people found a cure, but because there were simply fewer people left. Historians believe up to half of Europe's population died. Think about that. Every second person gone. But something unexpected happened after. With so many people gone, workers became valuable. For the first time, ordinary people had some power. Wages increased. Old systems began to weaken. Out of something so devastating, change began to happen. The Black Death didn't just kill millions, it changed the world. It showed how fragile everything really was. And even today, when we think about empty streets, fear spreading, people unsure what comes next, it doesn't feel that distant. Because history doesn't just stay in the past. Sometimes it comes back in ways we don't expect.